What is your favorite Kevin Smith movie?
I haven't seen any of them.
Are you... Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not my kind of humor. I've not seen any of Kevin Smith's movies. I've seen a lot of Kevin Smith interviews. I've watched some of his Evening with Kevin Smith things. I've listened to him a lot, but I've never watched any of his movies.
I mean...
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, no,
And
it's cool. It's cool.
I just, I when he was really big, he did Clerks and stuff in the late '90s. I wasn't watching a lot of comedy, and I'm really picky when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not my bag. I know that sounds weird to say because I've not seen them, but I mean I know Kevin
I
Smith,
get what you're saying.
and it's not my kind of my cup of tea. I guess I caught a couple episodes of the animated show at one point, and I was just like, yeah, it's not my humor.
Yeah.
So I never watched it.
I really
but,
just despise one of his movies, which is Red State, which for some reason gets a lot of praise, but I personally think...
no, a lot of people don't like that movie.
I don't know. I know. I mean, like, I'd seen the movie before Brown Kid Eric actually did his review on it, I think 3 months ago or something. It was sometime during last summer they'd done that, and I remember that. And I was watching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, someone actually agrees with me on this movie, and I'm not just some kind of idiot who just hates everything that everyone else likes. Of course, Eric does hate a lot of things, so that... I mean... Oh yeah, Laser Dude told me about this thing. I haven't watched Arrow Season 2 yet, and I'm really bad at remembering names for characters that are kind of just there to be the love interest. What's the name of the chick who dates Arrow in that show again? Or Oliver?
Well, Laurel used to.
I hate you so much.
Well, no, I'm just saying nobody dates him.
Well, yeah. That's what I meant. Just, well, CW relationships.
Yeah.
They sleep with each other once, and then the next episode it's like, oh.
To be fair, it's been a little bit better than that, although, I mean, yeah, she's been pretty obnoxious this year.
I mean, I like, because I haven't seen Season 2 yet, I haven't watched your Arrow discussions on it.
Yeah.
And from what...
Well, you shouldn't, because you would hear spoilers.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why, but...
Yeah.
I'll
give you a spoiler. Diggle is still cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, Diggle's still...
I was worried about that. You're such a lifesaver, man.
Did you worry that Diggle might lose his cool? Yeah.
I mean, if you stay completely cool throughout an entire series and your name is Diggle...
Yeah.
You've accomplished something.
But, I love that. He's cool.
I know. But... from what Laser Dude has told me, he wants to invent this drinking game where every time Eric mentions how Laurel is just like a horrible character and she just is like one of the most obnoxious people in the show, just take a shot. And apparently by the end of each episode of the Arrow discussions, you will be wasted out of your mind and have to be wheeled to an emergency room.
That's not fair. I mean, he says that when she comes up, because it's sort of true. Right now, but I don't know. I mean, he's just calling it how he sees it.
I don't know, and I don't know. I recently just finished the first season because I don't have cable, and I didn't want to watch the show in the first place because I hate Smallville, and I've gotten a lot of flack from some people for saying that. I just really despise the show.
Oh, that's fair.
With just
that's fair. Well, if you've seen any of my reviews on that show, you know how much of a love-hate relationship I have with it.
But like, I just like looked at the original trailers for that, and I was just like, oh.
Having reviewed, and I need to get back to it. Having reviewed a season and a half of that episode to episode and done all of that counting, I feel your pain.
Yeah,
I really do. But it doesn't change my love for Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Like, I saw the trailer for Arrow, and I'm like, oh, so it's Smallville.
But it's not. I mean, that's what's so great about it.
I know. You look at the trailer and everything, you're just like, oh, this show could be pretty decent. Get up, and then the CW logo comes up, and then you just, like, smash your TV.
Yeah, but you've seen some of the show now.
Yeah, I've seen the first season.
And it's better than that network.
Yeah.
by a lot. And hopefully maybe shows that network is maybe in some way maturing a little bit. I don't know if that's fair to say, but it's certainly I don't know. I think it learned from a lot of Smallville's mistakes.
Yeah.
I think
From
some of
Smallville's mistakes, and by the fact that you only actually see him as Superman for one episode at the very end, which I find to be just kind of a huge problem, but apparently a lot of people are fine with that, but whatever.
well, I'm not gonna get into Smallville because I could talk about that for hours. Because I've kind of studied it,
Yeah.
and the thing about the only thing I'll say about that is the problem isn't that it's 10 seasons before he puts the costume on. I think that's oversimplifying it. The problem is that is that in making a narrative about a character, you can't stick to a to a series Bible that closely to the point where it just doesn't make sense anymore. Nobody thought when they started making that show that it was going to go for an entire decade.
Yeah,
So no fights, no tights until the very, very end. It just simply doesn't make sense. So the idea of them doing that in the first place could have made sense had they had a finite number of seasons. Had they said we're gonna tell you the story about how Clark Kent becomes Superman. That's not the story they told. Because when you get to season 5 or 6, he, by all accounts, except for in my opinion, maturity, he should have been Superman.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, but the problem is that at some point it turns into a different show than what it was.
Yeah.
And what we really should have done was spin it off into a different show. Because it gets to the point where if you have to, I guess I am talking about this now, if you have to finagle it so much to where, well, it doesn't really make sense that he's not wearing a costume, but he can't because we have this rule that says he can't. Well, human beings aren't governed by a rule book we are, but what I mean is we don't have a writer who writes us, and we're governed by this rule book. Nobody told Clark Kent, okay, so you can't wear a cape until you get to the very end of the show, and you're not allowed to fly until you get to the very. Do you know how often those two things, especially the flying thing, make him seem like a far less sympathetic character through no fault of his own? Simply because the show has to contrive reasons for him not to do it. The last straw for me with the flight thing. You really shouldn't have got me on this. The last straw for me with the flight thing was he's supposed to be taught how to fly.
I know.
By Supergirl. And why would you? The thing is, they kept calling attention to it too. That was the other thing. Is don't keep calling attention to it. It's so incredibly gimmicky, and everybody should have been able to see right through that. So you've got this episode, you got this huge cliffhanger where the only reason that he can't go get the kidnapped Supergirl who has been nabbed by Brainiac and shot off into space is because he's scared of flying and he doesn't want to, and so he didn't learn how to fly. And I mean, it's really goofy.
Spoiler warning for a show that's been over for about 2 years now. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I'd say that about wraps it up and everything. Nice little rant in Smallville at the very end, which I'm fine with. But anyways, it was nice having you on and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Hashtag awkward silence.
Hashtag Mumblefest.
Hashtag Mumblefest. That's gotta become a thing.
Okay. On that note, I'm just gonna wrap this up. Would you like to say anything else before we go?
No, thanks for having me on. It was nice getting to chat with you, and I like I said, I liked the stuff that I've seen of so far, the Joker thing, and great job pulling that off.
Thank you.
And I will watch the rest of it. And thanks for watching and stuff. And I was really honored to be on. So thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See ya. Awkward ending.